What's up, it's Jan back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is gonna be my spoiler-filled dedicated reading vlog for my full moon book club pick for the month of May, which is Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-ryum. Hello everyone, it's currently Friday night, May 2nd. I'm trying to get a head start on getting this read, edited, uploaded for early access, and then uploaded on time. So I'm starting on the 2nd because my mouth surgery is on May 9th, and I want to make sure it's up for early access before that so I don't have to worry about it while I'm potentially dying in bed. I'm really excited that this was chosen. Technically, I broke the tie between this and Strange Pictures, but I will still be reading and providing my thoughts on Strange Pictures, just spoiler free, in another vlog. I just thought this would make for a better vlog and I would have more quotes to read out loud for y'all. Some people think direct quotes are spoilery, so just to avoid all that, it won't be a problem. This is a bookish little book. It's translated by Shanna Tan, and this copy was gifted to me by one of my fellow vampies, one of my patrons, Emma. So thank you so much. She's one of the international vampies, so she is actually, where is she? I can't remember which country she's from, but it's a cool one. Anywhere that's not in the US is cool. This is one of those healing fiction books, I believe, and I heard this is perfect for people who feel lost in life, who are in their 20s, who just feel like they're not— Oh my god, they're all playing a game next door. If you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be in life, this is supposed to make you feel better about it. I've read and heard some out of context quotes from other reviewers. I know Gabby really loved this. I think it's one of her top of the year for sure. So I'm really excited to get these cozy healing vibes because I think we all need those right now. I'm sure I'll be coloring all over this with my highlighter. I love this cover so much. It feels like a lo-fi YouTube video. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'd be listening to lo-fi while reading this. I heard it's also a love letter to books. I mean, if that weren't obvious from the title. I hope if you read this, it stuck with you, it resonated with you somehow, one way or another, and I hope you enjoy this vlog. I'll talk to you when I have a reading update. I'm in the middle of other vlogs right now, and I am trying to finish another book first, but I will jump into this as soon as possible. It's the next day. I started Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop and I picked my tabs and everything, and I love this bookmark. I just got it on Indie Bookstore Day. I love the Axolotl song on TikTok that Joey showed me because I don't use TikTok except for work. That has not changed. I just wanted to say I read the first 4 pages and already highlighted something on page 2. So it's already like super cozy, and there's this little illustration of a woman and a dog also on the cover, and I believe it's at the end of every chapter. The first thing I highlighted says, she would ask herself these questions. Does this place make me feel positive? Can I be truly whole and uncompromisingly myself? Do I love and treasure myself here? The bookshop checked all the boxes. And I'm like, same girl, same. And I feel like those are some crucial questions to remember to ask. As they say, you know, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. I love it already. Hi, don't mind my hair and makeup and audio being crazy. I have no idea where I put my mic. I think it's out there. I don't know. But I have a reading update. I read the first 34 pages and I already have quite a bit of tabs, which I expected. I have a tab color for relatable / good quotes, a bookish tab, and one for culture / lifestyle / language. I made that tab because there was one page where it said, you need rest to work, and to rest you need a certain level of income to live comfortably. And I was like, if only America had that mindset. Like, can you imagine? What a concept. She was talking about that because even though the bookshop was basically empty that day, she was hiring someone to work the cafe. He was like surprised by the amount she was willing to pay him, and he was like, I mean, it's weird for me to say this, but usually the pay is lower for baristas. And she's like, listen, you get Sundays and Mondays off, you're gonna work a full-time job, and you're gonna get paid like a full-time employee should be paid. And I was like, Yes. On page 4, it was talking about how she loves to-do lists and how she basically can't function without them, and it's more like a comfort thing for her rather than when she was younger it was like to get her life together. Now it's just a thing she has to do to feel confident about the day. And I was like, that is one of the most relatable things I've ever read, because I feel so discombobulated when I forget my planner at work. I can't like see my to-do list, or if I don't make constant to-do lists all the time, I just forget things to do, or I just don't feel as satisfied when I do them. Like, I love checking things off. Sometimes I even rewrite my to-do lists because the first time was too messy. My friend Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages posted something about that, and I was like, whoa, it's not just me. I feel so seen. There are already a lot of existential life quotes in this. Like, isn't that what life is about? Forging forward with the answer you have, stumbling along the way and picking yourself up, only to one day realize that the answer you've held on to for a long time is not the right one. When that happens, it's time to look for the next answer. That's how ordinary folks like herself live. Over our lifespan, the right answer will keep changing. And that just hit, because I used to be that girl who's like, I have this plan and this plan and this plan, and when I'm this age, I want to have this done already. And then, you know, as I grew up and got older, I'm sure a lot of us can relate to the fact that nothing goes the way you planned it to. And sometimes it's better. Most of the time it's for the better. I'm a huge believer of everything happens for a reason, but just the fact that it's written down in words like that, again, makes me feel so seen. And I feel like that's just gonna be a common recurrence throughout this book. It's just making me feel seen. There's also a whole passage about The Catcher in the Rye. She goes on about how it's like not interesting in the generic sense, but it's a very specific type of interesting. And I'm like, you really truly would not understand the essence of that statement unless you read the book. I personally love The Catcher in the Rye. It's one of my favorite classics. That and Dracula are my 2 favorite classics so far from what I've read. And I get it. It took me 3 times to fully get it, I think, but I definitely got it. It also talks about readers' advisory questions, which are some of the things I learned when I worked at my previous library, when I worked at the front desk. The correct questions to ask to pinpoint what the reader is into and how to provide a solid recommendation. When she did give a recommendation to this mom, even though she was so hesitant about it because the mom had a son and she could only think of a book about a mom and a daughter, and it was kind of the same situation but not really, and then the mom came back and was like, that was so good, please recommend me more books. That is the best feeling. I cannot think of many better feelings than that. Okay, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm gonna edit for the foreseeable future. I will say I'm not really in the mood for this type of book at the moment, and I think it's because we just went to a horror convention and I'm in a horror mood now, so I might shift gears for a little bit and come back to this throughout the week. Hopefully I finish it before my surgery. But yeah, the horror convention was fun. Talked to a lot of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't as crowded as we thought it would be because we went in the afternoon, and apparently it goes until 2 a.m, so that's wild. But yeah, it was a fun time. Sorry I'm like very mellow. I was just listening to lo-fi, reading the past 45 minutes, chilling. Now I have to edit, and it's like 9:30. I look a mess, I sound a mess, I am a mess. This whole day I just slept. And then ate dinner, and then I was okay enough to like do dishes and stuff. I had Tylenol and everything. I was getting sick yesterday. I knew it too. I knew it. When Gabby and I sprinted yesterday, I was feeling unwell, but I did not think it would hit me this hard. So I didn't go to work today, so I'll probably make up some hours tomorrow on my day off from home. But I have some updates. I got these glasses. You might have seen them, but they look like this, and they allow you to like lay flat and read or use your phone or watch TV or whatever at a 90-degree angle, so you don't have to strain your neck. And it works. And it works with glasses as well. Great investment. That's reading in 2025 for you. No! I also have a new handheld tripod again. Everything came correctly this time. My vampire cookie jar has been resurrected, and it came fully not shattered, so everything's grand. That's for my Patreon TBR jar, if you were curious. Every time I sniffle, there's like a pain in my head. Anyway, I'm 90 pages into our book club pick. Oh, I just realized this is public and everyone who is watching is gonna see this clip. I don't remember the last time I updated, but I have a few quotes that I would love to share if I can find them. There are a bunch of bookish ones, obviously, and this one is when our main character is interviewing an author, and the author goes, "Books are not meant to remain in your mind, but in your heart. Maybe they exist in your mind too, but as something more than memories. At a crossroads in life, a forgotten sentence or a story from years ago can come back to offer an invisible
invisible hand and guide you to a decision. Personally, I feel like the books I've read led me to make the choices I've made in life. While I may not remember all the details, the stories continue to exert a quiet influence on me. Like, if that's not the most relatable bookish thing you've ever heard. And then there's also random life stuff that I could relate to. Like this one, he wanted to rest. From the time he'd entered middle school till now, he had never felt well rested. Once he became a top student, he was expected to continue being one and to work hard consistently. He didn't hate working hard, but if all his efforts only amounted to this, he thought he might have been better off slacking. He didn't want to regret his past efforts, but he thought he would also end up with regrets if he continued to live like this. So that speaks to like the Asian parental expectations in terms of academia, because I know I for sure experienced that. It was always like, why is this an A minus, not an A type shit, you know? And then I would get rewarded for good grades on my report card. It was just a constant push to be better, even when you're in AP classes and advanced classes and getting a lot better grades than your friends and everything. Like, it was just so discouraging. So I definitely felt that one. And then you get that like sense of, in terms of what they're saying, sometimes you just feel like, oh, you work that hard for what? You're not a millionaire. You're not even close. You're not even doing your dream job at the moment. You just keep comparing yourself to everyone else. Comparison is the thief of joy. Okay, those are the two biggest quotes. Problem as to why I'm dragging ass on this book is because I think it's a little too cozy for me right now. I don't know what I'm in the mood for, but I need like a more riveting story. But I also know I'm on a time crunch with this book, so it's just a dilemma. But today I actually read a decent chunk and I'm still not sleepy because I slept all freaking day, literally for like 6 hours. It's 10 p.m. so I could read a little bit more, just hit my 100-page goal for the day. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish this by like Thursday, or honestly tomorrow night, and then edit the vlog so I can get it up for early access. I feel like I've said that like 7 times, but I need to just keep reminding myself that I'm not going to be able to edit on Friday because that's when surgery day is. Granted, I get better from all of this. 90 pages in, 207 more to go. I don't mind the laundry behind me and my messy hair. I'm about to straighten my hair. It's Wednesday. I ended up working half a day today to make up for yesterday's hours that I missed, but I slept like all morning, and then during my downtime and after work I've been reading the book, and I'm now 162 pages in. So they're in this book club and they were discussing this book that talked about work and our lifestyle, how you have to work to make a living. They had all these discussions about what if people just worked less, and then people who currently don't have jobs could have, you know, that work, and then it'll just all even out, which honestly is such a good concept if everyone were still getting paid the same. But I liked a lot of the quotes that talked about how our society is too obsessed with work, and working takes away too many things from us. When we return home after a long workday, we no longer have energy for leisure time or hobbies, and it becomes increasingly difficult to say how much of our time is truly our own. And that's so true. Like, every day, especially if you're working like a 9 to 5, or just like, well, not even especially, because like if you're also working like the night shift, that sucks too. Just full 8-hour days, especially if you have a commute, it's just exhausting. I've felt better about it because I have my Wednesdays off now, but holy shit, just the thought of going back stresses me out. Just the thought of going back to not having Wednesdays off to like recuperate and reset and get YouTube stuff done makes me kind of want to start hyperventilating. Not to be dramatic or anything. I know I could finish this book tomorrow if I really sat down and tried. I'm about to read this on our way to the concert. We're just gonna be chill in the back. I'm not gonna drink or anything. I've never seen Fame on Fire before, so I really want to go to this concert. I spent all day today and yesterday recovering, so I'm pretty much fine. I'm just like nasally. I have like 130 pages left and I think I could do it. We're gonna hope to end this vlog tomorrow. Everything will be a-okay. I got my Gabby Do Your Worst episode up today, which was really satisfying. I still have like 3 April vlogs to edit and it's May 7th. I mean, which is I guess good because I'm not gonna be able to vlog or film anything for at least a week. Well, at least a few days. Hopefully not a full week. But that'd be good because if I can at least edit vlogs and have content up, that'd be great. See, there are perks to being behind on content. That's about all I have. Our bookshop owner is trying to figure out like what's the best schedule for her to like open and close, and she's kind of freaking out every other day about how the bookshop is gonna become a part of the community. So she's trying to collab with authors and things like that. So it's kind of cool seeing the behind the scenes of owning a bookshop and everything, and and how it's like a lot of people's dreams, but not a lot of people think about like the logistics of it and how scary it is to try to maintain an indie business in this world and in this economy. I feel like objectively it's a 5-star book, but right now it's just feeling like a 4 because I'm not fully obsessed with it as much as I thought I would be. Like the quotes are resonating with me, but it's not giving me that overwhelming, life-changing feeling. Does that make sense? Alright, I'm gonna finish getting ready and I'll talk to y'all either later tonight or tomorrow morning. Ow! Hi, excuse the bedhead and lack of makeup / last night's makeup. But I just got a gift from one of my patrons, Melita. I think they go by Lita. They said, wishing you a quick recovery. Thank you for all that you do and everything you've created. How sweet. And I've been wanting to read this. I actually got this from the library sometime last year, I think. It's a YA horror. And I was like, I think I'm gonna want this in my possession. This is by Tori Bovalino, My Throat an Open Grave. And it just sounds so good. And ooh, the font. So that's one little unboxing. Thank you so much. This is so exciting. Let's see if there's anything on the naked. I was not expecting that. Fear the Lord of the Wood, he will catch you if you stray, and once you're caught, there is no turning back. I was not expecting a full-on cover like this. Princes don't come for girls like me. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. Okay, that just made everything like 10 times better. I'm already recovered from my surgery because of that. And then we have my exciting book of the month box. I'm so excited about this because it has one of my most anticipated books of the year, which is... Oh, I only got 2, I forgot. It's been pages since we met, get it? Like ages. My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I'm so stoked for this. I'm so stoked, especially because I know it has a heavy focus on art and I love books like that. I know some people think it's like pretentious or whatever, but I took an art history class in college and I have not stopped thinking about that class. That was my favorite class of all time. And I took like a Beatles literature class and like a film and literature class. Like I took some fun classes, but art history stuck in my brain. So I'm excited about this. And then I also got a special edition of Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I heard this is a debut. I heard everyone's loving this. It's like a dystopian something, and there's like mixed media in it. I've just heard all the good things about it, and I love this cover, and I'm glad Book of the Month did a nice special edition because I would have gotten FOMO for the pretty editions that everyone's getting. Ooh, my name is Ren Darlington. My 2 favorite names, first and last names. I've been hiding who I am my entire life. Today will be no different. Darlington, you know, those are some big shoes to fill because of Leigh Bardugo. And then Ren is one of my favorite first names. I don't know why. Ren and Addie, like Addie LaRue. But Ren Darlington. Ooh. I'm so excited. I love this box. Yay! But anyway, the point of this vlog. I got 216 pages in yesterday, so I did read over 100 pages of this. So I'm gonna finish this today. There was only one quote that really hit, but there were a few that I highlighted. There's this part where they're talking about using your time well and stuff. To him, a happy life was perhaps a life where he used his time well. There's this customer who comes to the cafe and like meditates. She spends hours there, and every, I think, 3 hours or so, she gets a new cup of coffee to make it worthwhile that she's there. And she was like questioning, she was like, am I gonna get kicked out? Like, what if people do this all the time and they just spend hours here but don't buy anything? So she just makes sure she buys something to like keep the cafe going and, you know, keep their business, whatever. Anyway, she goes, whenever a thought flashed across her mind, it was usually accompanied by a related book. When she spoke, she naturally referenced a quote, an author's name, or a particular theory, which sometimes bored the other party. She didn't find it boring at all, but she was aware that it could make the listener uncomfortable. And that's literally what goes on in my head when I'm talking about books. I'm like so excited and I start talking about books and then I'm like, oh, I'm probably boring this other person because they're not as passionate about books as I am. It like baffles me every time someone's actually listening the entire time, not zoning out, and actually like responding with follow-up questions and shit like that. So that was very relatable. Oh, there was just this one line that kind of portrayed anxiety really well. It's such a simple line. It says, she felt like ants in a frying pan. Like I've never heard or read or seen that phrase ever. I thought that was so brilliantly done. Maybe it's a literal translation, I don't know, but ants in a frying pan, like that's so vivid to me. This is when she's talking about like anxiety as she waits for customers to come in, because they're talking about how independent bookstores struggle sometimes and it takes 6 months to a year for indie bookstores to establish their place in a community. So that was just really good writing. So yeah, I'm going to add this to my huge haul pile that I will film at some point after my surgery. I will let you know when when I finish the book, probably. I'm working from home today, so I have some time. Yeah, hopefully next time I look a little bit cuter. Alrighty, I'm done with my work day. I'm done with this book. I'm done with this vlog. It's a high pain day, so like this is taking a lot out of me. So bear with me here. I gave it 4 stars. I did find my favorite quote of the entire book, and that is dog-eared on page 282. And it's as follows. My experience taught me that even if I'm working for someone else, I need to work for myself. Working for myself means that I'll try my best in what I do. More importantly, never lose myself, no matter if it's at work or outside. There's something else you shouldn't forget. If you're unhappy or unsatisfied with your work life, and each day is spent in meaningless misery, it's time to look for something else. Why? Because we only get one shot in life, and we're living it now. I thought that was pretty inspiring, and I've always valued work-life balance. Before I got my full-time job, working odd jobs here and there, like retail and stuff like that, I always promised myself that I would leave as soon as I have any sort of mental breakdown. Like, if I can afford to leave, even if I couldn't, I will leave. Or I would at least start looking immediately for a new job, because it's just simply not worth it. I just remember one of my friends who was dealing with shit at work. She worked at Menards. She was also on the hunt for a full-time job out of college and everything. And she was trying to work 2 jobs just to have some extra money after paying rent and everything. And I was like, girl, Menards needs you more than you need them. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them double shifts and all this mental distress working around their schedule and living according to their schedule and everything. Like, you have another job that's sustaining you. Like you don't need this job. And so like after I taught myself that, working retail and stuff, like I had the privilege to leave when I needed to. I would just tell my friends all the same thing if they needed to hear that from someone. So yeah, that one spoke volumes to me, that quote. I really appreciated all the discussions about like work and life and not prioritizing work over everything else, but knowing that it's like a crucial part of life and that, you know, you need to do it to live for the most part, unless you're really freaking lucky. But you don't have to like kill yourself over a job and just stress yourself out to the point of constant misery and dreading your life every day for a job. And I recognize that that is kind of a privileged thing to say, because not everyone gets the same type of opportunities and everything, but this is obviously speaking from personal experience, and if you have the means to do so, you should always put yourself first over any job, because it's just a job. The ending was very much a feel-good ending. I liked the cozy feels throughout the entire book, all the way to the very last page. I just personally was not in the mood for this type of book. I could be in the mood for a contemporary, but I think I'm more in the mood for like an unhinged story rather than a cozy, mundane story. But that is not faulting the book in any way. I mean, the writing was beautiful. The translation was well done, in my opinion, at least based on what I read. Obviously, I don't know what the original text said, because I personally do not speak nor read Korean. It did what I expected, but I also kind of expected more in terms of how I felt by the end. I thought it was going to be an overwhelming sense of, oh my god, this is an all-time new favorite book, 6 stars, probably on my top 10, blah blah blah. No, like it didn't even hit that 5-star mark for me, because there was a lot of disconnect between me and pretty much all of the characters. Obviously, I rooted for the main character and her independent bookstore. I was rooting for her to succeed because she also like rebelled against her mom's wishes and knew that she was disappointing her and everything, because like she got a divorce and she risked a lot by following her dream and following her heart and opening this bookshop. But I wasn't like crying and feeling all the feelings that she was when she was talking about her divorce and talking about all her emotions that went through her in the process of setting up this bookshop and making all these decisions for herself. I just thought it would feel a lot heavier on me, but it was just like going through the motions. But I liked how she like asked Minjun to be a permanent employee. I thought that was really touching, and there were some parts that were definitely moving in several ways. But there were some parts that were also like, okay, can we move on? Can this chapter end already? I almost feel like there were a few too many side characters, like the authors and everything. I don't know, I didn't really care to know more about them other than their stance on books and work and life and stuff. I did like that one woman who stayed and meditated in the cafe. I thought knowing about her was cool. I feel like if you liked bookshops and bone dust, I feel like this did it better and in a contemporary setting versus fantasy. Oh, I also really loved the decision that she talked about at the end about not including bestsellers at her bookshop in order to promote diversity. And she talked about how the publishing industry lacks diversity. She talks about how like looking at a bestseller shelf in major bookstores invokes a certain idea versus just not having bestsellers available at all, and highlighting, you know, smaller authors, less well-known authors, independent authors, diverse authors that then show customers that it's not just all about the big shot authors. Yeah, I just thought that was a unique idea. I don't think I've ever walked into a bookstore that didn't have a bestseller section of any sort. I mean, I've definitely walked into more unique bookstores that sold less known authors and independent authors, but they still have at least a little section of bestsellers. But to exclude them altogether or stop selling them as soon as an adaptation gets made or whatever, I think that's a bold and admirable move. So good for her. It was an enjoyable read. It was a nice break from the usual stories that we choose for this book club. So thank you to my Carmilla patrons for voting for this one. Thank you to everyone who participated. Oh, I didn't do a fun fact. Okay, so my fun fact is going to involve The Catcher in the Rye. I also appreciated that The Catcher in the Rye was discussed a lot in this book because I love that is like my favorite classic of all time. I've said this before, but one of my professors, my community college English lit professor for like 3 or 4 different classes, his name is Greg Harridges. He was one of the very, very few people who was able to interview J.D. Salinger, who's the author of The Catcher in the Rye. J.D. Salinger was very much a recluse and he refused interviews all the time. And Mr. Harridges said that he like went to his house and was able to get an interview out of him. So that's pretty cool. That's all I got. If you made it to the end of this video, put a book emoji or a book stack emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for reading this book with us if you did, or if you watched this video and you've read it before. Thank you for that as well. Or if you're just hanging, if you watched this and you had no interest in the book whatsoever, thank you for being here. I hope you had a 5-star day. Don't forget to do some self-care and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.